This agenda item provides an opportunity for citizens to address the board or committee on any matter that is not posted on the agenda. Anyone wishing to address the board or committee should complete a citizens comment registration form, submit it to the board liaison or board chair prior to the start of the meeting. There is a 3-minute time limit for each citizen to speak, with a reasonable limitation on speakers on one topic or item, with a maximum of 15 total minutes on the same topic item. Anyone wishing to speak shall be courteous and cordial. The board or committee is not permitted to take action on any subject raised by a speaker during citizen comments. However, the chair may have the item placed on a future agenda for action, refer the item to the city administration for further study or action, briefly state existing city policy, or provide a brief statement of factual information in response to this inquiry. I don't see any citizens here, so we will not be hearing any citizen comments. So if we could, let's move to C1, which is to consider approval of minutes for the February 2025 meeting and take appropriate action. Does anybody have any comments or any corrections or anything at all you'd like to say regarding the minutes in our package? Any comment? Any corrections? If not, can I get a motion to approve the minutes as presented?
So moved.
I get a second? All in favor, say aye. Okay, let's go to C2.
Okay,
Discuss council direction and comprehensive plan.
okay, board, I just want to pass this on. This was, earlier this year, back in February. I think it was at the second January meeting. Council discussed kind of, and I think a lot of it stemmed from, there was some discussion after the board chair meeting. Does that sound right? Yeah, which was in end of January. And, council was just concerned after the board chair meeting about the board's not able to, they didn't want to kind of quell any discussion that the boards or anything that the boards were working on. But they also wanted to let the boards know, and this all was through the chairs first. So we're kind of just bringing it to you all, the rest of the board, but kind of also to link the comprehensive plan that was adopted on when it comes to direction that the boards have. They wanted just that to be kind of the tool that boards use if they're curious on a direction that the board's going, or if they have questions. They always wanted that to kind of be the reference. So it's kind of like just to kind of circle back. I do feel like at some point they'll give a little more clear direction to all the boards, but that was kind of the first step, was to say, hey, last year they took time to do the comprehensive plan and put it in action. And so they just kind of were reiterating that. Tara's going to go ahead and, I know I've talked conversation with David about looking for the plan. She's going to kind of let you guys know on the screen is the city. You want to show them on the city website where they go first? So this is the main page.
So usually the comprehensive plan is housed in the planning community service webpage. So I'm gonna go to departments and go to here, planning and zoning. I'm gonna click there. And then on their page, there's a side that shows current long-range planning. Range plans, which this document is a long-range planning tool that stems over 20 years for how they want to see the city grow and how citizens have partaked in this to provide their thoughts and concerns as far as what they want to see at the end result within the next 20 years with the city growth. So in here, there's a couple of other links here, but you can look at these other current long-range plans. So you have the master plan as well, city trails master plan, and also probably the parks and recreation plan as well too, that you will be able to access as well from this site. but in this case, we're looking at the Farmers Branch 2045 plan. So this one will establish a citywide vision for development in the city in the next 20 years. You just will click on that plan and it will bring it up for you here. And you can also type in the search engine, Farmers Branch 2045 plan as well. And so here they kind of give you how they planned out the different phases. And then also, if you want to access the entire comprehensive plan, you can. So within this document of the plan, you will find some information about as far as Parks and Recs and the charge of what they want, how they want to go about achieving their goal with Parks and Recreation. So in a nutshell, it's very, not a lot of goals in that way, because the couple of goals are to preserve the open space and then acquire new parkland as well. So those are mainly a lot of the goals that we have for parks. And I'll just go to this one page so you can see that goal. And if y'all have any questions, please ask me too. Off we go. So I'll just take you to this one, which here is the goal that prioritize parks and open spaces here. And so that's, we're responsible for that. Parks and Recreation is responsible. And they will show you the action steps that we have here to take to make sure that we're moving towards that goal also. So in a nutshell, this comprehensive plan it lays out a foundation for how we want to grow, then also incorporates strategic plans for us to implement to get to that goal in 2045. So it's a guiding tool.
So thank you. And I want to thank Robert for sending this to he sent it to me and then we met and I asked to send it to everybody. And forgive me, maybe you guys are already well aware of this, but this was very, very informative for me because basically it's a 97-page document and very comprehensive, very professionally done, just very impressive. And I was just really, really impressed by the entire scope of the document and just really, really impressed and just really, and once again, the piece on the parks and rec space. I must confess, I wasn't able to print out the 97-page documents because I don't have enough toner cartridge in my printer to do that, but and I printed out the one page that had to do with parking in open space. But what you're talking about, where specifically, what did you say, the goals and everything right there?
Yes.
Is there a way that, well, is there any way that could somehow, because don't want to print out a huge document, but just the portion that appeals that applies to us, would it be possible to share that with us so that we can, I just want to make sure that I really, really understand that. And I have to confess, I printed out this page and what you just described is not, I'm not so sure I printed out the right thing. Based upon
Yeah,
what you
there's
just
a couple
described.
of other pages because with the comprehensive plan, it does an existing condition, then it does a lot of data analysis as well, and then collaboration with different departments like Public Works and such for everybody to, as a whole, as a city to achieve these goals. So there's a couple of different pages that I can provide to you, as a group, provided to you also, because there's a couple other ones, but basically from going through this document, you really have prioritized parks and open space. That is really one of the goals that Parks and Recreation is responsible for in this
Okay.
document.
No, thank you for that. And yes, so if you could get just that specific piece
Mhm.
and then share that with us. And I don't know if it means getting it to Robert, have Robert send us an email, but that would be very, very helpful. And, cause like I said, this is I mean, maybe you guys have already spent a whole lot of time. I remember when we were doing these 3 phases and I'm just very impressed that obviously they engaged a consultant, the Stantec, that helped them put this thing together. It's a very, very comprehensive piece of work. Just very impressive.
And this is also to a document that is, citizens participate as well too.
Right.
So in the back, there's a couple of different summaries and won't take up y'all's time, but they have story maps also on the page that I was showing as well that kind of provide the information to you all. in a more, abbreviated, abbreviated information. So you have like the context analysis and it just real quick goes through it at a glance for you.
Do you know if this is set up in such a way, pardon me, that we can download it and then pick and choose what we might want to?
Yeah, you can
page-wise?
download the entire document, and then
Yeah.
remove the pages if you want to and such, or just have those different pages that just pertain to Parks and Recreation.
Yeah, and forgive me, I'm not communicating effectively. It's a very impressive document, 97 pages. But I just want to make sure that I'm not screwing up and missing the specific point. So to the extent you can, out of the 97, pull out the 3 that are important to us and make sure that we really, really are on top of that. I very much appreciate that. Okay, thank you. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Anybody else have any comment or thoughts, or actually, you guys probably already knew this and already knew this thing backwards and forwards.
I've read it, but I read the paperwork, correct.
Good, good stuff. Thank you very much. Thank you. Do we have anything else on C2? If not, let's go to C3, receive Recreation Division update.
Yes, so just friendly reminder, we have Gateway to the Globe next Saturday, happening at the Historical Park. Branch Connection update, we will be having our soft opening on May 12th. And so that is an opportunity to get the seniors back into their building and work out all the next, you know, flushing of the toilets and making sure that we've got everything covered to have our big grand opening later, hopefully during the month of June. We're not really in a rush for the grand opening, but we want to kind of have it sooner rather than later. And so that's for the Branch Connection. And then I also wanted to go over it. Everyone should have received 2 emails by now from Dolphin Lavina inquiring about if any of you are interested on sitting on the Events Review Subcommittee. And so this is going to be a subcommittee underneath the Arts and Culture Board. It's currently the Gateway to the Globe subcommittee that will transition into its primary focus will be all city events. Which will begin like the first week of April. And so the council has given the directive to solicit feedback from each of the boards that have experience with events and programs, since you guys know what it takes on the staff side to put on these events. Your areas of expertise are important to the subcommittee. And so we can have at least 2 people from the Parks and Recreation Board on there. And if you have anyone else in the community, any other residents who would like to participate on this board, you can provide them with my information and we can get them invited as well. The good thing with the subcommittee is you can have as many people as you'd like. And so kind of an informal type of monthly meeting where we'll all get together and discuss what our current city events are. And then what is it that the community is looking for? And so, you know, I can name one off the top of my head. You have a lot of parents who are like, we want a lot of moms, we want a mom and son dance. We want something for the moms and the sons to do kind of like daddy-daughter dance. And so this is that opportunity to kind of come to the table and say, okay, well, this is kind of where our budgets are at. How can we make this happen within the current budget? One of those types of events don't really cost a lot. But let's say this subcommittee wanted something on a broader scope, it's a lot bigger, then it's like, okay, so let's put together a proposal. And then the chair of the subcommittee will then kind of go in front of council during the budget season and say, you know, this is what we're looking at, X, Y, and Z, and then allow them to discuss and then vote that into the budget at that time. And then we're bringing Halloween back this year, Halloween in the Branch. And so we want the subcommittee to kind of build that event and make it whatever it is that the community at this point in time wants it. We've had Halloween in the park for a lot of years, kind of always had that same footprint. And so we want it to be bigger than that, but we want to make it where the residents have the opportunity to provide feedback on what they want, what you guys, if any of you want to be on this subcommittee. And so that email should have came out twice. Is there anyone interested? No one from this board has to, but we would like at least one person.
Oh, thank you, Jessica. So, and actually, she had sent an email to me saying we need to have the name by tomorrow. And I said, I went back to her, I said, we're having our board meeting this Thursday and we're going to get at least one volunteer from the board meeting. So then we'll have an answer for you by tomorrow. So who wants to volunteer for that on the board?
So instead of doing any ideas here in our regular meetings, now there's gonna have to be a second meeting.
You can still have them here, but that subcommittee is gonna be the one who's basically going to, that's where all of the information will be going through and where kind of suggestions will be made. Cause it's not a, decision-making subcommittee, it's an advisory recommendation. And so ultimately it's on the staff to look at our budget and determine what we can and what we cannot do. We just want the feedback from the residents.
David?
Yep.
If nobody else wants to do it, I'll represent.
You're the man. Thank you.
But if anybody wants,
I have a lot of.
We can
event
have, we have two.
I'll do it.
We can have.
Okay, Jennifer and
I'm just frustrated. It has to be another meeting that it moves, that we're not providing input and thoughts here. It's
Yeah,
frustrating.
okay.
So we have two volunteers.
I'll.
Okay, thank you. Thank you both.
And I would just say,
Thank you.
Jennifer, if you, any update, any input, just let us know anytime. I mean, you're part, you know,
I've been feeling like I haven't had much of a voice. I've been trying to figure out if I want to stay involved with the city or not. And I've been pretty frustrated. Like,
And yeah, if forgive me because I should have printed out that email that she sent. They said it's two from this board and there was like one from historical board and there was a couple other boards where they had, in other words, it was they're picking people from the various.
I think branch connection.
Yeah.
Yep, exactly. Yeah.
Maybe the library.
So, well, yeah, so those boards that have that event and program experience, we've solicited people to join the subcommittee, as well as the two arts and cultural board members who are also on the subcommittee, who then report back to the arts and culture board. Will continue to also be on the board.
and I think too, that's part of, so what the goal also of this is that the people that are on the subcommittee can report back to their own boards. So if we need to, we can have, part of your, when you have your item receive update from board members on programs and things, that could be an opportunity for those that go to the subcommittee. From your point of view, you can bring it to the rest of the board, so you can kind of be discussing that. So, and then all the other boards can do the same thing. So the reps from arts and culture, they, and library and senior advisory, they can all go back to their boards and discuss what's been happening on events. And the good thing about subcommittee format is we don't have to post agendas. Subcommittees can be a little more, laxed in regards to our postings and quorum rules and all that kind of stuff. So
Meeting locations, you
Yes,
can
so,
meet different places.
so people can join, come and go kind of as they feel like, and, so.
so I'm
it's-
not kicked off by this.
No.
Well, I just think it's gonna be a good venue for, what our hope is that the input will be good for, I know Councilman Roman really wants to have discussions when we start talking about this at budget, have input from this event review. Because all of you realized where we were last summer and some of the discussions, and I think he wants to get ahead of that. So he wants to be able to, kind of vet through some of those discussions. So, input from the events review. So when it gets to council and if they have questions or whatever, it's kind of been vetted by the citizenry, so, anyway, so we'll see. It's a new thing. So we'll kind of, Jessica and her team have done a good job with the current Gateway subcommittee. So hopefully we'll just ease into that.
So Jessica, question is, so Erin wanted to know by tomorrow. Can you let her know?
Yeah.
Too? Thank you.
Email her too, because that's who emailed me, right? So I've been- Yeah, it was Jocelyn and me.
Okay.
Josh.
We'd love to say Erin.
Yeah,
so
you guys are more than welcome to, but I'll take care of it.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, I've been
Thank you.
struggling with it since I got the first email, trying to figure out if I was gonna volunteer or not.
Thank you for
We
volunteering.
appreciate it.
Thank you.
And then one more thing, or two more things. So every July is National Parks and Recreation Month. And so I know this has always been something, especially Maria and I, on our radar. And by the time we get to it, we're like knee deep into like summer sunshine, and then we just don't we'll cover it here and there. And then we used to decorate the little display case that was up at the front back when we had the display case there. But this year, Robert and I have had a full year to get everything under our belts, and we want to go big. with this year's National Parks and Recreation Month. So what I did with my team across the entire department is, we're going to get out into the community. We're going to do a couple of things where they come to the facilities, but we're going to meet the residents where they're at, from the west side to the east side to the central, everywhere. From parks to a little bit of some touch a truck, some scavenger hunts out at John F. Burke, to maybe something where the city owns Mercer, but nothing's really there yet, that we can get one of our instructors to do maybe yoga in the park or something. We're gonna really get out there. So that's something that my team that our department is working on, and I just wanted to let you guys know. And I'll keep you guys updated through these next few months as we're in that planning process, but it's gonna be really big. We're gonna get shirts made. We want to have y'all support, because we're also going to be celebrating the Margaret Young Natatorium's 10th birthday party, 10th birthday. And it's gonna be an all month long birthday party celebration incorporated in July National Parks and Recreation Month. We also are going to do a proclamation at the city council for this. So it's gonna be huge. It's gonna be big. And NRPA, they're just great. They've already created all of the marketing pieces for us. So the marketing's pretty much done. We just have to incorporate like our brand into that. But we really want to get out there. We're going to program some little pop-ups and see because this also gives us an idea of what we can do moving forward year round, see where people are actually coming out, if we have a good attendance, and what they're liking, and hear from the community. And we'll have a survey together. So at all these different stops that we're making, we're getting that feedback to be able to take back and use that information and that knowledge to plan out our programs and events. So just wanted to let you guys know about National Parks and Recreation Month in July. And then lastly, recreation and aquatics are getting ready for summer. They've been having back-to-back lifeguarding classes, so that way they can then hopefully get those participants to apply for the positions and hired on. They're doing really well with their hiring for the lifeguards. And then for Summer Funshine, they are also getting ready with camp counselors. By tomorrow morning, they will have their entire summer programmed. All of their calendars are completed. Will be sitting in my inbox waiting for me to review them. Got some great things planned for the kids. I'm really excited. Getting the campers t-shirts together. So getting that going and just rocking and rolling. Summertime for us. And we're excited.
Great.
Busy time.
Thank you.
Let me just, on the council meeting for Parks and Rec Month, probably looking at, usually you do it the last June meeting is when we'll have kind of the proclamation. So we're shooting for that probably June 17th. It's a Tuesday. So we'd love you guys to come to that. We'll firm all that up with you all. I'm just kind of giving you the date if you can attend. And then on, we also want to do an Arbor Day proclamation, kind of like we all did last year. We will probably be doing something on council meeting on the 4th for that proclamation.
Which month?
Of November, sorry. And then probably we're trying to work with Public Works this year to do something with the tree giveaway and our Arbor Day kind of recognition. So look for something probably into that week for, like kind of do a tree planting, kind of like we did last year. So I'm just giving you kind of some dates to just kind of keep in mind, and we'll firm all these up with you, but I just thought since Jess brought it up, we kind of let you.
And I ask a question about the tree giveaway?
Yeah.
I haven't been to pick one up, but a neighbor has, and their tree died.
Oh, no.
Like pretty much right after, I guess, when they got into the summer. Do y'all give any fact, like is there a fact sheet that comes out with the tree?
I think that there is, because I know, we get the trees through Texas Tree Foundation,
Uh-huh.
and I want to say they have some information with, but you might have to go
But
get it.
it's
I
not
don't,
marked also.
yeah, there's no sheets that they give with the trees when you pick them up, but I believe they've got information on their website about each of the trees, so kind of some care. I'll get with
I wonder if that's an idea to add it.
yeah, no, I think it's great,
When I
yeah.
heard that, I was like, that's.
I'll check, so Alex Farmacus, the sustainability manager, kind of heads the tree giveaway,
Yeah,
and so I'll get with him and see, that's a good
because we wanted to
question.
live.
I
They're
did the
more
event,
likely at someone's house.
yeah,
than-
I did the event a couple of years and I don't remember anything being given away about the trees, with the trees. I do know we know the species that we give because we order.
Mhm.
It's kind of what the Texas Trees Foundation has available. They try to change it up every year, so we're not always getting the same trees.
Well, I learned from Mark the whole planning in the fall. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
So,
This coming up is the National Arbor Day is usually in April.
Mhm.
Texas recognizes it. So, yeah, just for that reason, because they get into summer and then, but you'll see quite a few communities that still do it. They'll still do it during the national one in April. And really, if you get them watered, and a lot of times they can get acclimated, it's just always sometimes easier to do it in November.
The last thing, I don't know if you guys heard about the Economic Development Passport. So your recreation center is in that passport. So they've got lots of different businesses throughout the city of Farmers Branch, and the recreation center is included in that. And so when, if business people, patrons or residents stop by, we'll be giving them a guest pass. So every kind of restaurant giving something, every business is giving something, and so our give is going to be a guest pass that they can then share with a family or friend.
Great. Anything else on C3? And now we'll go to C4, receive Parks Division update.
Good evening. Good evening. Our guys have been busy getting ready for the spring coming in. They've started out on North Josie Lane, replanting a lot of landscape that's died over the last couple of years. Finished up between, I guess it's Rolling Dale and Fight 2 weeks ago, and started between Hollandale and Cooks Creek. Starting to revamp some of the irrigation, through some of the ground covering, and moved out also to West Valley View out by the bridge, out by Luna, and they're starting to work their way in. For us to be able to do this is gonna be a little time consuming, but we've got it worked out so that we are doing our normal day-to-day duties, plus 1 day a week given up to work on those medians, to do a median a week to try to get everything and move our way on further. We also started last week and part of this week, working at the Branch Connection to start bringing in and revamping that landscape there as well, doing some irrigation work.